Roaming an empty dungeon, Rentt stumbles upon a boss room. It's a huge, heavenly dragon. With him clearly being a low-level pleb with all of his equipment definitely acquired from the dollar store, he realizes he has no chance against this beast. Trembling in fear against the beast's battle cry, his last thought before death is that he just wanted to become a mithril adventurer. Sometime later, Rentt awakens and sees only bones, no meat. He has officially become an undead skeleton. A shocking realization. That day started like any other for Rentt, early in the morning, explaining in an internal monologue how important it is to wake up early as an adventurer. He is a lowly bronze adventurer in a village that isn't even on a map. Mainly the reason to wake up early is to get good quests that are offered based on adventurers' rank and abilities. The contents may vary between monster extermination, gathering herbs or ingredients down to cleaning the sewers. While looking at the quests, 3 of his acquaintances wonder if he is going to the labyrinth again, and he says yes, if he won't find any suitable quests again. They don't know how he can keep this up every day, before heading off themselves. Taking a closer look at the quest board, he doesn't see anything suitable for a lowly bronze, and decides this is going to be another labyrinth adventure today. Most of the adventurers work in parties, but he likes to ride solo. His main reason is that he is not that good. He's been an adventurer for 10 years now, but he is still in the bronze rank, second rank from the bottom, just like me in League of Legends. Although, as long as he can hunt monsters and sell their crystals and materials for a living, that is enough for him. If anything, he is pretty stable for an adventurer and even has savings in case of emergencies. But on this day, he didn't have a cautious mind that is vital for an adventurer, because in this labyrinth that has been exhaustively explored and left empty with nothing around, he found a hole in the wall that isn't on his map. He rushes towards it and double-checks. It's a hidden passage. He can't control himself and just starts grinning. It's a major discovery, something that can get him out of the dollar store clothing. Turning a corner, he is now sure of it. It's an unexplored area, and he is first to the prize. If he finds any valuable magic tool or weapon, even just delivering the information and mapping it out would fetch him a fortune. Normally, Rentt would avoid this place, but here he is, alone in this dangerous, unexplored environment, can't maintain his giddiness to finally be first at something. But because of it, he enters the vast room and comes face to face with the heavenly dragon, a true monster, ranking at the top amongst the food chain. According to the legends, they have many forms, and some even differ a lot from normal dragons. Even so, he knew it's a dragon at first sight. Just from his presence, it made Rentt unable to move. A forever bronze adventurer like him has absolutely no chance. Still, he doesn't understand how he is alive after being eaten by the dragon, even though technically, he isn't alive. So from a lowly bronze rank adventurer, he became a skeleton that can easily be vanquished by a bishop or a priest with their purifying magic. In other words, he is a being that violates the divine logic of gods of, the dead cannot exist in this world. He really is dead, but somehow maintained his memories and consciousness. His initial instinct is to head back to the village, but the fear of being purified there makes him decide against it. Filled with confusion and uncertainty, he grabs his sword and gets on his feet. Sensing no sign of the dragon, he decides to leave the area. Honestly, he roams the labyrinth just like any other mob, and the other monsters don't pay any attention to him. No one really knows how the labyrinths work, and many tried to research it, but to no use. Rentt's plan is to wait for another adventurer to come and ask for help, but then he realizes he can't talk. He notices a skeleton turn on him, and once he rushes in, he feels heavy, much weaker than before, maybe because he doesn't have any muscles. He is the same as the skeleton he is facing. He could easily beat it as a human, but now, he can't even hold a sword. Neither can the opposing skeleton walk properly, frantically trying to attach his leg back. The situation is miserable. Rentt realizes he can't use swordsmanship as a skeleton, but he checks his other abilities, activating his spirit skill. Rentt and the opposing skeleton are the same, but his advantage is equipment and usage of skills. With this, he does a 1-2 combo on him, and after mere seconds, he extracts the experience from the skeleton. This could be big. Rentt recalls how his master taught him that monsters have a mysterious element to them. By stacking their age and experience, they can evolve into a higher being. Rentt applies the same logic to humans, but what she means is on another level. She says that a skeleton would still be a skeleton no matter what they do, but in rare instances they would evolve into a ghoul. That is called existential evolution. This is what Rentt thinks might happen to him. He might evolve into a ghoul and have flesh and be much more human-like. That way, he might be able to return to town if he disguises himself. So he is determined to achieve existential evolution for the time being, slaying all the monsters in this dungeon and evolving into a ghoul. Meanwhile, his master is worried that Rentt hasn't come in today either for her evening activities. After slaying the 5th skeleton, Rentt is getting better at moving his body. This light also has a recovery effect. Thanks to that, he can keep using his spirit ability in every fight, believing he should try to challenge a stronger monster soon. Turning a corner, he notices a slime. They are representatives of weak monsters, usually grouped with skeletons, but they should not be underestimated as they resist physical attacks by nature. They are defeated by magic easily, but he isn't skilled enough to use offensive magic, so his only choice is to defeat it with physical attacks, either to destroy its core or slice up its gelatinous body to the point it can't regenerate. Since he doesn't have the power nor ability to do that, the slimes are his arch nemesis, since he needs to use a special spirit art that he can use only once a day. The slime leaps back and throws acidic projectiles. Disregarding everything he thought, he just swings his sword, and luckily and surprisingly, he hits the slime's core. He collects slime's magic crystal and gelatin that isn't acidic. Quite contrary, it's used as cosmetics for women as it makes your skin smooth. Where did he get all those flasks from? Meanwhile, in the village, one of the adventure clerks, Sheila, is questioned if she has found a party for a new adventurer from the other day. Based on the letter, she is inexperienced, but has proficiency with the sword. She replies that there wasn't anyone hiring, so she wanted to ask Rentt for help, but notes that he hasn't returned since yesterday. That is very unusual, especially since he hasn't taken any quests outside of the city. Since the new adventurer was in need of money, she told her to go to the same labyrinth Rentt went to, the low-level labyrinth. Still, something doesn't seem right. Back at the labyrinth, Rentt doesn't get sleepy or has any appetite. He surmises that's a given, since he's an undead. Even if he would eat, it would just fall to the ground. He fought through the whole night because exhaustion also isn't a factor, but he guesses existential evolution doesn't happen that easily. His physical abilities got a lot worse when he just turned into a skeleton, but after slaying all those monsters, it's pretty much back to how it was before. His spirit works just as before, and he can also use mana. He is surprised he can also use divinity, despite being an undead. Divinity doesn't only apply to injuries and illnesses, it can also purify water and prevent food from spoiling. Rentt decides to keep fighting monsters little by little. He can probably win against 2 monsters at the same time. 3 would be a tough fight, and 4 or more he has to run away. He understands how weak he is, even after being an adventurer for 10 years, and if he includes the training that would be 20 years. And while he may be able to use spirit, mana, and divinity, which is rare for even high-ranking adventurers to be able to use all 3, he isn't exactly strong in any of them either. He knows he isn't fit for the job, and normally people like him would quit adventuring after a few years and work fields in the village or look for another job, but he was sure things would find a way as long as he was alive. He never stopped training each day and studies monsters and magic, taking all kinds of quests, no matter how small. He kept doing all that for 10 years, all for his dream to become a mithril rank adventurer, a rank higher than gold or platinum, a level not even naturally gifted people can easily achieve. That is the highest rank reserved for adventurers capable of saving the whole kingdom single-handedly. Even in his current form, he vows to become mithril. Pulling himself together and going after more skeletons, and realizing that in one day he has become even stronger from when he was still human. Easily dodging and pulverizing all the low-level mobs in the labyrinth. It's not an accident. He is getting stronger by the minute. He gets another flask to collect the slime to sell later, but something unexpected happens. A shock runs through his body. His body starts to get covered in flesh, and he starts to glow in a bright yellow light. Taking off his glove, he realizes that he has finally evolved. He is now a ghoul. He has flesh, even though it's dried up and disgusting. That's a great progress. If he keeps this up, he might even turn into an undead of a higher rank. His ultimate goal for now would be to turn into a vampire, to look just like a human. Since he has flesh, he can actually talk, but any sound that is coming out is definitely not speech material. He will need some practice. Goblins can be dangerous in packs, but using the environment to force them into one-on-one fights makes them easier to defeat. After gaining some muscle, thanks to existential evolution, Rentt can move now much easier than when he was just a skeleton. Also, his spirit, mana, and divinity increased as well, so he can enhance his sword now too. He is now stronger than when he was a human. Suddenly Rentt hears someone fighting in the dungeon. It's the guild girl from the other day, doing her utmost to slay a skeleton. Rentt is glad to see a human, but he can't be approaching her looking like this, so all he can do is watch from the distance. Rentt knows most of the adventurers in the city, and quickly surmises that she's a novice, following her inconspicuously around the dungeon. But on one of the turns, he panics when he sees her take the wrong path. Rentt knows the girl has good basics, but lacks strength, and doesn't pay attention to her surroundings. The girl declares that she wants to become a full-fledged adventurer as she swings at the skeleton, but it grabs her sword, about to strike. That's when Rentt comes into picture, roaring and taking the aggro off of her, slicing the skeleton in half with one swoop. With some broken words, Rentt tries to explain who he is and that he's not an enemy, dropping his sword. He slowly gets the words out, and the girl somehow understands him, noting that he does look a bit different from normal monsters, and starts thanking him for saving her. Rentt has one request for her. He wants a robe, so he can get into the city, handing her a bag full of coins, mentioning she can keep the change. He escorts her to the exit, and although she is still wary of him, she promises to return the favor. Any sound adventurer would report Rentt to the guild immediately, but he had a hunch she wouldn't betray him like that. Right away, she rushes to the guild, eager to ask something. Rentt has a hard time believing it, but he is actually stronger than how he was in human form, not only physically, but his body moves exactly how he wants it to, wondering if those who are better than him also see the world this way. He suddenly hears the girl call out his name. She returned as promised, still wary of him. His speech became more fluent. It took him a lot of practice. The girl brought him clothes and his change. He slowly approaches, but the girl backs off. She's just scared, apologizing and asking for more time to get used to him. Rentt pulls out a robe, a perfect plain robe. It can cover his whole body and he won't stand out. She also bought a pair of boots and gloves and got some bandages to cover his skin. Smart thinking blondie. He equips the clothes right away, and they fit him perfectly. It does block his vision slightly, but that shouldn't be a problem. He still looks like a white, so he can't exactly walk into the city like that. But the girl thought of that, pulling out a metal mask. The mask sucks up to his face, fitting him perfectly, but he can't take it off. She got it from some suspicious stall, since it was shockingly cheap, and she thought it would be useful. It was worth 3 copper coins, equals to 3 loaves of bread. The mask most likely is a curse that activates when it is put on the face. Rentt tries to use divinity to remove the mask, shocking the girl in the process that an undead can use divinity, but he runs out of energy before succeeding. She apologizes for the cursed item, but Rentt calms her down, not like he has any other way of hiding his face. Also, the mask reacted to divinity, so he can save up some money and ask a strong priest to remove it. He wants to touch the girl to console her, but pulls back. She drops her sword and holds Rentt's hand. She says that she knows Rentt isn't a bad person. That's why she isn't scared anymore, trembling as she holds on to him. With this, the two head back to the city, Malt. The girl explains that she registered as an adventurer in the capital, but because there are a lot of famed adventurers, as a novice there aren't many jobs she can do. That's why she came to Malt. With 2 nearby labyrinths this close, Malt is a good place to train and polish one's skills. As they slowly approach Malt, the girl really warms up to Rentt. A lot of people in the city know Rentt, so they will know immediately something is wrong when he shows his ID, opting to enter from a gate he rarely uses. He thanks Rena for her help, noting that he made this far only because of her, but she doesn't want to part ways yet, promising to help him even after they enter the city. That said, he is a monster, and if someone finds out, she will be charged with a crime. He doesn't want to trouble her further. Rena says she would have died if not for him, so she is ready to risk her life once for him. At the gate, they show their IDs and are permitted entry, although Rentt's strange attire is really suspicious, and the guards order him to show his face. Rena comes to his defense, saying the mask is cursed, and attributes his strange way of speaking to being badly injured in a fight. Hiding his scars behind a mask, he now cannot take off. The guards are on edge. They try to pull the mask off, but it won't budge, so they are permitted entry, all thanks to Rena. As a carriage passes by, Rentt disappears, leaving Rena alone. He is sure Rena will become a great adventurer, but he can't burden her anymore. He still needs a human to cooperate with him though, so he visits his master. After knocking, there is no answer, so he lets himself in, finding his master, Lorraine, asleep. He calls her out multiple times, and in her sleep, she already knows it's Rentt, waking up to see him in a mask. Rentt takes off his glove, shocking her even further. Thank you for watching. Subscribe for more episodes.